Hey, this is my video on how would alien architecture be like. Yeah, I have to move out of light because that would probably mess with a lot of the eyes of the viewers. Now for this video, I'm going to discuss how if we were to meet an alien civilization, at least hypothetically, because there's no way you can fully prove how things are actually going to be like versus how you actually think they're going to be like. And honestly, the reason for this issue is, I mean, just to, this is just to simply something to answer the reason why, for people who are curious, because architecture is, if you look at history, is pretty much the primary thing that determines how advanced civilizations are. Civilizations that live in like straw things that are like 20 feet tall versus ones that have buildings that are like 500 feet tall, at least for the time. We're talking about centuries ago. That's when they first started to take this into account. Uh, you know, they would definitely say the one with 500 feet tall is more advanced, because they have more people and a better chance to have a better military and all that sort of stuff, a place to look at over the sky and all that sort of stuff. But so how would our alien architecture be like? And I think this is a very interesting, to just get straight to the point, I think, honestly, how alien architecture would be like if there's an alien civilization, an intelligent alien civilization. I think how it'd be like would depend on the planet you go to. Like for example, if you have a planet that is very advanced, that is very that even we're not even taking into account the issues of advancement because that still might affect how it's like, like if you have a planet that's like, for example, very big and it has a lot of species on it, it's probably more likely. Well, all the planets we pretty much come across are big, but let's just say it's more of a tropical planet. It's more of a hotter planet. It's closer to the sun. You know, now let's just say you know, um, where we are, to be honest with you, it's probably more likely, that they're gonna have bigger construction buildings. They're gonna have more fortresses. Because I'm telling you, man, I've been to Florida, and even Florida in itself is pretty bad. When it comes, even in the 21st century, as the locals would probably tell you if you've been to Florida, when it comes to the climate and the wildlife that are there, they have 20 some million people, but they have alligators everywhere and all that sort of stuff. And you don't know what the heck is going to try to hop in there or something. So it's more likely that they're going to have a more of a fortress type situation. And the second possibility, if it's let's just say, for example, it's maybe maybe it's a type of planet where there is a lot of species. I mean, where it's very hot and arid. It's probably more likely. It's more likely they're probably gonna have more hot and arid. It's probably more likely that they're gonna have places that are architecture designs that are meant to make people stay cool, to be honest with you. I know there's probably some Star Wars references some of my viewers, at least if anybody watches this video, is probably going to think of. But at the same time, it's still true, they probably would have architecture to deal with the heat. How this architecture would be like, to be honest with you, is it'll probably be very I don't know, exactly, but it would probably be more open than our planet would architecture would be like. While we're so obsessed with staying closed inside, they might have buildings that are a bit more open, because you have to look at this factor, there's no alien species because it's a dry climate. It's more likely that there's probably going to be less animals, so they don't have to worry too much about animals, but they're worried about trying to keep hot, trying to keep cool, trying to keep cool or something. I don't know. Trying to keep cool or something to make sure that they don't get hot. I don't think this is something you could explain really how it looked like on the outside, but I think it's more something how to look in the inside. I think this would be a species that would probably cater more to how it looks in the inside, would probably focus more because unlike our humans, like where when we have a planet as diverse as this, where you could be in a forest one moment, you can be in a desert. This is a planet that's just pretty much 90% of it is dry and it's much huger than planet Earth. So what do you think? So it comes as no surprise it's gonna be like that. So I think the architecture of this planet would probably be more reliant on of the inside of the building than the outside of the building. You'd probably see the most intricate, beautiful designs in the inside, than the outside. Because nobody's really being gonna be on the outside. Just because it's freaking hot. There's sandstorms or everything. It's gonna look probably. It might still look good, but it would be more something you would see inside. And for the inside, they'd probably have a lot more features or something to make sure that people don't get hot, don't get too hot. To be honest with you, you know, probably a lot of designs such as things to make sure people don't get too hot. Like for you, well, these are not people. Yeah, I forgot that, but it's kind of hard to get used to this. But these aliens would not get too hot. They probably have things at the top. Like who knows? It might even have a bit of a foamy design or something. It would definitely look pretty different than our planet. Because it would have a foamy design that would make it look like something out of a movie. I mean, that would make it just in general look different than what we're used to. And for a planet that is very dark. Because I did watch those documentaries on National Geographic, and they talk about how a planet that's very cold, how it'd be like. If it's still warm enough, like probably the equivalent of Mars, when it was warmer, they claim, if they had alien species, because if they had alien life on it, it'd probably be very of to deal with a very cold planet, it'd probably be very lightish. Because when it's on a cold planet, it's obvious that they're not getting much sunlight. It gets cold very quickly, and people would be more huddled in their rooms. And people, honestly, I mean, aliens, life forms, they're gonna have to come up with a word term to describe aliens if we ever meet them, instead of just saying people. But honestly, just speaking the truth, because it's a planet that is very snowy, that is very cold, you're gonna need something to probably lighten yourself up. So they're probably gonna have coal lights everywhere. Lights everywhere, to be honest with you. It would probably make like places like New York and stuff look like a joke, because this is what they've been doing for thousands of years and they prepared for this. So this is something that they would use to keep themselves warm, to keep themselves probably to feel better about themselves, because they feel isolated, even if their cities are huge. It's very light, it's very flashy, it's designed to uplift the moods of the sentient beings on the planet. um and it just and in general, the flashing lights would probably just in general it would help people be able to see each other. If people be able to see, I mean, sentient beings being able to see each other, because it's filled with so because pretty much the only color is just white, really. So it'd probably be a very flashy planet, a very, to be honest with you, maybe we could trade, if we would ever trade with that planet. We would see the stuff they have. We would learn more about luminescence and all that sort of stuff, no matter how much we might think we're advanced for that. And this is my video, and this is all I have to say, so later.